Hi, welcome to the video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy, and comment your thoughts and opinions on the stories. Let's get started. Am I the antagonist for telling my mom that if she doesn't kick out my sister I'm leaving? The history between me and my sister is insanely complicated. But to sum things up, my sister, F21, emotionally abused me, F13, for as long as I can remember. Telling me to stop eating as much, making comments about my body, saying that if I don't start working out more I'll never succeed, and saying that my trauma is nothing compared to hers and she's been through much more. Extension. Many things have happened to my sister over the years, and she has become a severe addict. I don't see this as an excuse for the things she's done to me, but most of my family does. Due to my sister's mental health issues, PTSD and stuff, she lashes out a lot, especially when drunk. She's also a kleptomaniac and used to steal alcohol from my grandma's and from my mom. She would get mad when even the slightest thing happened that she didn't like or manipulate people into doing what she wanted by using the "I'm gonna screw a slide" card. Her tantrums would often lead to the repeating cycle of calling the cops, showing them all the bottles of alcohol and empty pill bottles. Then she goes away for a few days and it happens again a week or two later. This was severely detrimental to me and my mother's mental states. She went to a rehab center a few months ago, then got kicked out, then started living with some family who I now know had lost a daughter and she was using that to get stuff from them. She came and stole our car and took her annoying dog back about 2 months ago, and now she has been kicked out by the family for unknown reasons. When she got kicked out she started calling and texting my mom again, which she hasn't done since she left, and my mom went on a rant to the whole family about how she's not allowed back again. Well, she's officially manipulated my mom into letting her back. It's currently 6 in the morning and I'm sitting sobbing in my room because it's happening all over again. She's just gonna do the same thing and nobody gonna believe me till it happens in front of their very own eyes. I hate this house. I hate that nobody believed me for years and years and now they don't believe me again. I told my mom that if she isn't gone by the end of the day I'm leaving and staying with my grandma, since she's the only person who's been by my side through this. I feel like a dick, but at the same time I don't want to be around her even more when I know how bad she is. So am I the asshole? Now for the top comments. NTA. Your sister looks really toxic. She will not break that cycle unless she is willing to do it. You are right. If you can stay with your grandma in a safe environment, please go with her. If you have other family members you can trust, please talk to them. Stay safe. I really hope your mother listened to you. NTA. Your mother should be valuing your mental health as well. I'm sure your mother is doing everything possible to help your sister, and it's probably hard to see your problems with so much noise coming from the other side. I would definitely have a conversation, not yelling, with your mother about how this is affecting you. She might agree that it's best for you to be with your grandmother right now anyway. Your family needs an interventionist involved before shipping this girl off to rehab again, and your mother needs to stick to her bottom lines if she wants to break the cycle. Tell your mom that you won't subject yourself to the verbal and mental abuse again, and that you're going to leave if she stays. Tell her that you're the minor child and her job is to protect you, but if she can't do that by bringing a dangerous person into the house, you'll go. NTA. Might be worth talking to someone not family related, maybe even CPS. Am I the antagonist for threatening my mom's best friend after she ignored me? Here we go. Yesterday I had to threaten my mom's best friend with the police court. For context, we have a dog that we have been caring for. It is my brother's and he is 2,000 miles away right now and scheduled to come pick her up in August. My mom had the genius idea of giving away the dog cause she was sick. Turns out they had been feeding her cat food for months straight. I wasn't aware of this since I live downstairs. Also have 5 other pets I care for just downstairs. So I'm busy at it. My mom lied to me and convinced me she ran away. I didn't believe it fully, but had to, since I had no evidence of her being given away. I started poking into the situation and 2 weeks later found out she gave away her son's dog without permission. With no permission from my father either. I told my mom she needed to get the dog back, and she immediately said no because her friend's daughter already loves the dog. This isn't fair, my brother has owned that dog for 6 years since a puppy. I told her that, and she said that he was only taking care of her for my baby sister. Well, that's complete bullshit, cause I saw her hand the dog to my brother in 2016 and say it's his as long as he cares for it. Well, since I was not getting through my mom's head, I texted her best friend and asked for the dog back, so goddamn nicely ignored. Next day I was so angry that I messaged her and said we will go to court if you don't give back his dog. She called my mom, and then my mom called me telling me to back off. At this point I was fed up. I yelled at my mom, then lied about filing a police report already with an officer. However, that seemed to work, and they gave the dog back to me finally. She's safe in my room downstairs. I feel so bad and shitty, especially for threatening someone. But my wife is telling me not to, since we more than likely wouldn't have gotten the dog back without threatening her. Am I the asshole? Small edit. Her best friend also lied to me and said the dog was with her daughter at another home. The dog was at her direct house. She also lied saying she had given the dog away to someone else and couldn't even get it. And this was all coming from my mom's best friend. Now for the top comments. NTA, your mother is horrible, and be sure and tell your brother what she did. Oh, for sure, that's the first thing I did when I found out she gave his dog away. Poor guy said he cried and drank all night. I'm so glad I was able to get her back for him. We aren't happy at all with our mother. My mom did this to me when I was young. I had to temporarily house my cat elsewhere during the sale of my apartment from one landlord to another. Already had clearance from the new landlord to bring him back when the sale was completed. I asked my mom to help me, and she took him for a few weeks, then gave him away without asking me or telling me. I went to go get him, and he was gone. She just said yeah, I gave him away. She wouldn't tell me who he went with or anything. It's probably been 20 years, and I'm still angry. I wish I had a sibling to help me, like you helped your brother. You did the right thing. I don't think I'd be able to forgive something like that, tbh. NTA, can people stop giving away other people's things/animals? Also, can people please stop mistreating their pets? Am I the antagonist for rubbing my pregnancy in my cousin's face? Throwaway account. I, 24F, am 5 months pregnant with my husband, Henry, 25 male, and his first child. We got married 5.5 months ago. So our baby is a honeymoon baby, you could say. Now, this was not our plan. We wanted to be married for 4 or 5 years before having a child. We used condoms, and I had an implant in my arm. We initially were a little freaked out. However, as I've been getting further along in the pregnancy, both of us have opened up to the idea of a kid. Now we are both really excited and looking forward to welcoming our baby girl. My cousin, Taylor, 35F, and her husband, Liam, 38 male, have been married for 7 years. They've been trying to have a baby for basically the full 7 years. However, they found out that their chances of conceiving naturally were almost zero. They are looking into a surrogate. My grandmother just had her 75th birthday. Since it's a big day, we had a big family party, and a lot of my extended family who I haven't seen in a while or since my wedding were there. Everyone was really excited because this was the first time most of them were seeing me pregnant. During the party, several of them came up to me and Henry. They asked questions, congratulated us, asked to feel my tummy, etc. It's been a few years since there was a new baby in the family, so I think that's why everyone was so excited. Anyway, I went into the kitchen at one point to get more soda to bring out. Taylor and Liam ended up following me into the kitchen. Taylor was really upset, and it looked she was about to cry. I asked her what was wrong, and she told me that what's wrong. I asked what she meant, and she gestured to my stomach and said I was acting like a bitch. I was confused and offended, so I asked her to explain what she meant. BC, I didn't think I was doing anything wrong. Liam answered and said I was rubbing my pregnancy in their faces. I apologized. BC, that wasn't my intention. I can't even begin to imagine what they've been going through the last 7 years. Taylor told me that I didn't deserve this baby. She said that I didn't even want it, and it's not fair that Henry and I get a baby right after getting married. I told her I agreed it wasn't fair, but I do want this baby. She then threw my hesitation when I first got pregnant in my face and said that meant I didn't want or deserve it. After that there was a lot of crying, and I started to struggle to understand her. Eventually Henry came in BC I was taking so long and asked what was going on. I told him, and he told Taylor and Lamb that they were out of line and that I never meant to offend them, and then ushered me outside with the soda. We ended up leaving shortly afterwards. BC Taylor and Lamb kept glaring at me and I was feeling awkward. Henry keeps assuring me I did nothing wrong, but I'm not sure. Taylor has never spoken to me like that. I care about her and Lamb a lot, and seeing them so upset makes me wonder if I was an asshole. Am I the antagonist? Now for the top comments. As an infertile woman who cried my share and more of tears, I can promise you that you are definitely not the a-hole. Nowhere did you mention anything about you sashaying up to her chanting I'm having a baby and you're not. Nina. That would have been cruel. But you didn't do that. You are not required to hide your pregnancy to spare her feelings. Her angst is hers, and I promise you that she will feel that whenever anyone gets pregnant. Sadly, if she is never able to get pregnant, she's going to have to find a way to acceptance, which isn't easy. What she's going through is painful, but it's not anything you did. I'm sorry, but I'm having a baby and you're not. Nina is way too fucking funny. LMAO. I'd get if Taylor was told this all day every day of Ops pregnancy, but Ops literally just existing. FR. I'm sitting here going Nina and reliving some vague childhood experiences I forgot I had. Of course you're not the a-hole. While I'm sure it's a hard pill to swallow for your cousin, it's none of her business. Congrats on the baby. NTA, it's not your fault they are infertile. You didn't cause it. You didn't sneak into their room at night and sterilize them. If they can't handle being around people who are pregnant, they need to avoid the situations and seek therapy because their behavior was out of line. NTA. I lost my son during my first pregnancy last January. Every pregnancy announcement and gender reveal party on social media afterwards felt like a punch to the gut. However, even though my world stopped, the world didn't, and people still get pregnant. Grief does horrible things to you, but you haven't done anything that was insensitive to prompt such a reaction. Please know it's her and not you, and she just needs to process this in her own time. Am I the antagonist for not letting my friend's sister hang out with us? I'm Japanese and my parents are both immigrants. They're fairly traditional, so we speak Japanese at home and there's a lot of Japanese culture related stuff around the house. I, 17 male, am friends with a girl, Sarah, and I only met her this year. She came to my house to hang out a few weeks ago and were fairly good friends. A few times, she brought her younger sister Jas, 15F, along. They're pretty close and I haven't really talked to Jas that much. When my friends and I are talking, she's just kind of in the corner. We try to include her anyways, though. Jas is very into anime and manga, your typical fujoshi stuff. I don't care what she watches in her free time, but the problem starts when she keeps bringing up the fact that I'm Japanese to every conversation, and each interaction just gets weirder and weirder. Whenever I talk to my parents in Japanese, she automatically shouts some random word she learned from anime like baka or something. Very awkward, but it's not harming anyone yet, so I just shrug it off. It only becomes uncomfortable when she starts comparing my brother, 22 male, and me to a popular anime ship that she likes. She makes comments like you guys would be so cute together and stuff, and honestly it's grossing me out. I asked Jas if she could stop, but she just shrugged and basically ignored me. It just got too much that I told Sarah that if Jas was going to hang out with us wouldn't include me. Sarah told me that I was just overreacting over a few comments and that Jas wasn't hurting anyone. I've apparently upset Jas with that and she's inconsolable, which tbh I don't believe, because she barely talks to me or anyone in the group anyways. Am I the antagonist? I think 15 is old enough to know that these kinds of comments are weird and that I'm not overreacting, but I could be wrong. Now for the top comments. NTA. Jazz's behavior is wildly inappropriate, especially since you've asked her to stop. You are a real person, not a character from an anime, and she is fetishizing you and your brother in a very creepy way. This will only get worse with time. Yeah, Jazz isn't separating fiction and reality properly here. At best, it's only going to continue to be more and more awkward to have her around. NTA, she's pretty much racially stereotyping you by associating everything she sees in anime to you and your family. I wonder if she would like it if you just shouted random English words at her when you see her. All else aside, making comments about two brothers being a couple is weird and should be stopped, since she won't listen to you telling her to stop. Yay, get some distance between you two. NTA, Jazz is hurting someone. You. Really weird. Sarah can't understand it when you explain in plain English. Maybe Op should try explaining it in Japanese? /AITA, not the a-hole. Am I the antagonist for making my husband feel bad about going on a trip while I'm 33 weeks pregnant? High risk. My husband is planning to go on an all expenses paid celebratory trip with colleagues to Europe soon and is adding a couple of days to see family. At the time of his travels, I will be 33 weeks pregnant with our second child. Although I really would love for him to go and have some fun, there's several reasons why I'm not feeling good about him going on this trip. This is a high risk pregnancy. Our first child was born at 32 weeks being severely growth restricted, weighing less than a kilo. This pregnancy, the same issue has been found. However, I'm taking medication that seems to work so far. As of 28 weeks onwards, the risks increase, and therefore we are having a growth scan every 2 weeks. These scans are important, and although it seems to all go okay so far, there is a risk that the baby stops growing and needs to be born before the scheduled C-section at 38 weeks. Having said that, all looks okay so far, and we are optimistic about making the 38 weeks. I'm the caretaker of our toddler, but due to this pregnancy I was told to take it really easy and not lift anything, including my toddler. With my husband away, all of the care would be on me, and it would be very difficult to take it easy. We have recently moved to another continent and have no social network or backup in place. If something were to happen, I have no idea who to call to look after our toddler. I would literally be on my own. He would be away for 10 days total, which I think is too long. He would be 2 flights away. Total of 15 hours in the air excluding layover. The 32-week mark will be an emotional time for me, as that's when our first child was born through emergency C-section after a very scary pregnancy in which we were never sure he would make it. He spent 2 months in hospital before coming home. Hitting the 32 weeks will be a milestone, but at the same time brings back memories. I'm just not feeling very confident. The further along I get, I'm at a higher risk of getting preeclampsia, and last week's blood test showed heightened values. Nothing concerning yet, but something to keep checking up on. The event will be at a destination famous for its party scene. There will be a lot of alcohol and whatnot involved, making a potential emergency flight home impossible. I feel this is inconsiderate and irresponsible considering the situation. Although I don't want to be the one telling him he can't go, I have mentioned to him that I feel uncomfortable with him going on this trip. He says he feels bad for going, but does not consider cancelling. Am I the asshole for making him feel bad for going on this trip? Or is he asshole for putting this trip over his wife and children's well-being? Now for the top comments. He didn't even bother to have a plan in place to help you with the lifting. If he goes, what's the plan? Who cares for you while you are in hospital? Who has say over your care if you happen to remain unconscious? Who cares for you if you deliver? Obviously he doesn't give a shit about you or your children if he is not considering cancelling. If he is that concerned about a party, then there's more going on with him. Take that party money to cover the needed help. This is what stood out the most to me. If he said, hey, I'm flying your mom, or getting a nanny for 2 weeks, at least that would be him trying. Yes, some kind of plan in place would help make Op feel more at ease. Although I don't want to be the one telling him he can't go, you're not. The doctor has already told him what is required to give this baby the best chance. Just because the doc hasn't said outright stick around, It was most definitely implied. How the hell are you supposed to take it easy with a toddler without a support system in place? You know no one right now. And no lifting anything is impossible with a little one. If Hubs is still planning on going on this trip, regardless of risk to you and baby, not to mention the toddler, then he's tar, and you need to remind him that right now. You're the priority, not a European vacation. Put your foot down, and his actions going forward will tell you whether you and the kids are really that important to him. Then you can plan for the next steps. Absolutely not the a-hole. Am I the antagonist for losing it and making my stepmom look bad? I have 2 sons, a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old. I'm a single mom and their father is practically a deadbeat. Anyways, it was my dad's birthday yesterday and he invited us. Everything was going really well and my 3-year-old was sitting on my lap when all of a sudden my stepmom tried picking him up. I held him down and was like, it's fine, I've got him, but she kept insisting and kept telling me to go take a break. I said I was fine and that I want my baby, but she, being much stronger than I am, lifted him into her arms. I got really frustrated and IDKY, but I just got really teary-eyed. My 4-year-old noticed and started to get upset as well, while my 3-year-old became fussy. At this point I'm begging for her to give him to me and has saying he wants me as well. She just kept saying that she's only helping and that she's older than me and knows how to deal with kids and is more responsible etc etc. My dad eventually told her to get off her high horse and give me my kid. She did, but was really upset about it and said that I was being a major drama queen and that I should learn to accept her kindness because not everyone is willing to help out young moms these days. I told her that I didn't ask for her help and that I was just fine in that moment, and she told me that I was too attached to my kids. I called her crazy and she implied that I'm an asshole for making her look bad and losing it when she was only trying to be kind. I think she needs to understand boundaries, but I may have overreacted and she may be right. I'm extra sensitive emotional these days too. Am I the antagonist? Edit. I didn't want to include this just in case it took away from my actual problem, but I'm 22. Also I guess this is relevant info and a few people have asked. My ex often did something similar to what my stepmom did. I didn't realize till much later that my reaction was probably triggered by that. I also split with him very recently, so everything's fresh, which is why I'm so sensitive irritable. If I'm being vague, I hope you understand. I appreciate all the opinions and will work on myself and talk to my stepmom and dad using all the perspectives I've read, especially since I don't believe my stepmom had mean intentions. Thanks. Now for the top comments. Never take a child from a mother when she says no, you can't hold my child. It's like basic info, not the a-hole. I'm pretty sure that was on my veterinary nursing boards. Where do you never stand in relation to mother/baby between? NTA. You didn't make her look bad. She made herself look bad by taking your child from you against your will and refusing to give him back. I can just see Sam Jackson yelling, "Accept it. Accept this moth of kin kindness or I will end you. Test me and see Godnet." Also, yes, Chestnut the a-hole, and I hope she earns it well. NTA. She took your baby while you both cried for each other? Jesus Christ. She needs to learn how to read the room. That's not alright. Full stop. NTA. If you think being upset that someone forcibly takes your child from your arms is insanely sensitive, that lady has done a number on you. Part of helping means listening to what people need, deciding you are the authority of what another adult needs, and doing it, even when they explicitly tell you not to, and no one is in danger, is just gross paternalism and superiority. She should look bad. Her behavior was out of line. My dad eventually told her to get off her high horse. Dad's right. But damn wish he would have stepped in sooner. Sounds like this lady has a habit of demeaning you